Hey guys, what's up? It's Heather with the Moss Co. And today we're here for part 2 of creating the new flower bed border in my front yard. So in the part 1, and I'll link that down below, which was 2 videos ago, we took the leaf blower and blew the leaves back so we could see what we were working with. And then we cut in an edge. And then over the last 2 weeks, I've been out here trying to get all of it cleared out. And I was gonna film that, but watching me do manual labor is painful. Painful. I'm not good at it at all. Just imagine someone sweating and dying and this number, and then I got stung by a bee twice and it was a complete fail. But we've almost got it all cleared out. I just need to, I use the tiller. I bought a small tiller from Amazon. I use that for the last part of this, and so I've created these little dirt piles that I need to just shovel up the dirt, and then we're going to lay our drip tubing. And I really wanted to show y'all laying the drip tubing portion of this because I'm going to do it a little different than I do for other beds. So this is a really large bed space, and obviously it's late summer. I don't have the plants to plant it up right now, and kind of like last summer when I got my bed all ready so that I could plant it for the following year, doing the same thing here. So there's a couple hostas around here you can see that I need to move, and I need to put drip in. And the poor Japanese maple that's been sitting next to my driveway for the whole summer is struggling, and it's losing leaves super quick. So I want to put it, it's going in this bed, I want to put it in its spot and get water run to it because it's struggling real bad. So when we do the drip to this one, before I showed you how to get your drip going and then create a grid system, but because it's going to take me probably several years to fill this up, what I want to do is just lay one black poly supply line, and then as I add plants or move plants to it or put stuff in, I can get water directly to that plant. That way I'm not setting up a grid system that's nowhere near, if I change my mind or whatever. I'm not using all this drip tubing, but we'll have basically a supply line to get our tubing run. The other thing is we're gonna need to mulch this joker pretty quick because everything I just pulled out of here is regrowing in a heartbeat, and ain't nobody got time. Absolutely not. So hopefully we'll get some mulch going pretty soon. But let's get this dirt scooped up and then we'll lay our black poly. Oh wait, first let me show you the full bed right now. Let's take a little tour. Some bearings. Here's my house, front porch up to my house. And these are the beds that we usually work in right in front of my house. And then we have this expansive lawn, and then it goes to woods. And down here, if you can see through here, my driveway comes up from the street way down there, curves all the way over there. And at the end where these black-eyed Susans are, if you go over here, there's stairs down to my driveway. So the bed starts over there where the driveway is, and it borders the grass all the way up to these trees. And then this is my side yard, if you want to call it that. There's my toilet planter. Need to replant that this fall. So, side yard. So let's back up and take a look. Standing at the corner of the porch right now, looking out. And again, in that clearing down there, this little spot and around here, that's where the driveway is, and it curves up. So our bed starts right here, and eventually I would like to put a bed on this side as well. So there'll be grass strip and then bed over here. But for right now, our bed starts here, so we cut all of this out and goes down, 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 and goes around that direction. So here we have fresh bed. So many possibilities. And the bed goes all the way around. It's the widest on this end and it's skinnier in the middle, and then it widens out over there. So now let's go stand right there and take a look. So here we are from this angle. These hostas all need to be moved. This hydrangea needs to be pushed back because I want to do a hedge of hydrangeas right here at the border. But the bed goes all the way here and here and curves around. You can see where my car is right here, curves around to the driveway and takes off this direction some too. So now that you know what it looks like, let's go back over there and scoop up all that dirt, and I'll show you how I'm gonna lay my drip tubing. By the way, scooping all this out, incredible amount of work, super rewarding though. One of those things that like after you do it, you're like, dang, look at all that possibility. And now I'm like, every time I take a break, I'm like, woo, let's get on Pinterest, find some plants. What can we grow right here? Everything. Right now we grow on weeds though, so we gotta get some mulch down because I did not just do all that work for there to be mulch. All that dirt scraped up, so now we're gonna do our drip tubing. So I've done videos about drip tubing before and I'll link them below, but basically I'm gonna use black poly tubing, and that's kind of like gonna be a supply line, if you will. And I'm gonna start it in the corner of the bed here, run it through the center of the whole bed all the way down to the driveway. Next to my driveway is a gravel border, so I'll scoop up eventually. I'm supposed to do this for my vegetable garden too, haven't gotten it done yet. Scoop it up and I'll lay the tubing underneath, probably about like this much underneath gravel border, and then connect it to my hose bib at my house. So I have my hose bib at my house on a timer. It's got 4 zones, and one zone goes to my vegetable garden, the other side. The other zone goes up to my flower beds up here. So this will be a 3rd zone. So what we'll do is let me go get my tubing. I should show y'all. So the tubing that I've been using is just whatever they have at Home Depot for black poly tubing at the time. So this happens to be Rainbird brand. I get it in 100-foot sections. I've also, if you have been watching our videos before, I had pots on my porch this spring and I had drip tubing up there, but I don't have those pots up there because that was an epic fail, garden fail there. So I need to take that drip tubing down. So I'll probably take it down, cut out the sections that have holes in it from where I put emitters in it, connect it with some couplers, and you can just buy these at Home Depot as well. They have elbows, T's, and these straight couplers. You just connect your tubing up where you want it. I've mentioned about tubing before. It looks like it would be super pliable in videos and you just roll it out and everything's fine and dandy, but it's not. It's probably gonna try to stay in this formation here. Part of the reason I wanna go ahead and use that tubing, because it's been out for a while. There's a dance party going on in my house, clearly.
He kicked me out.
He kicked you out of the dance party?
Grabbed my hand, pulled me out, and said, "Dad, outside."
Well, we've officially lost control of this Saint Asylum. Aww, he invited him back in. He comes out and goes, "Daddy, you want to dance?" He's a cute kid, but he's feisty, that one. So in any case, I'll pull that drip tubing up first because this is gonna be super non-pliable. What I tend to do is like hold one end of it and then I'll walk down what I want it, kind of where I want it to stay. The other thing is I bought a bunch of landscape staples, because landscape staples, the tall ones, like there's ones for landscape fabric, don't get that. That's not long enough, that won't do you any good. Get the ones that are taller, usually in the irrigation section. And so we'll lay it out, we'll have it bent over at the end, lay it all the way around and connect it back up. That way, again, when I'm ready to move plants or put plants in or whatever the case may be, I can just tap into the tubing that I've already got, set it up exactly for how that plant will need it, and then run about my business. So let's go grab that tubing up there and we'll get it over here. Okay, so clearly this is a different day. I'm back out here again today. Time got away from me the other day and I had to do some other things. We're gonna finish up the drip tubing on this bed. And again, the reason that I wanna show you this is because this is a bed that we're gonna develop over the next couple years. I obviously don't have all of the plants to fill this right now. And so I don't wanna lay a giant grid system that's feeding a bunch of stuff that's not even here first, and that's not maybe directly where I need it to be. So what we're gonna do is lay one solid piece of black poly tubing. We'll start at the end and work our way back to the supply. We use the black poly tubing. I buy whatever's at Home Depot at the time. This happens to be Rainbird. There may be some Dig brand tubing. I don't really care, whatever they've got at the time. And I pulled the tubing that was on my porch and cut all the pieces out of it so that I could reuse that, because we're not gonna have plants up there anymore. So this is the end piece from my front porch. And if you'll notice here, these couplers, you can buy them, and you just, if the tubing is whole here, you slide this end down, you bend the tubing over, and you slide this back up, and it just ends the tubing. You could use duct tape if you wanted to, but they do sell these, you can use them. So this is gonna be our end piece, and we're just gonna stick it down here, and we are going to use some landscape staples to keep it to stay. Again, I've talked about this before. This stuff looks a lot more flexible than it is. It's pretty rigid. And so you want to make sure that you're accounting for that. A lot of times what I'll do is walk along it as I'm laying it down to try to get it to not be so wonky. But it doesn't really matter where it lays right here, because what we're going to do is just use this, and if I put some plants in, I'll get some 1/4 inch and tie off to it, or I'll cut it and put some brown emitter hosing off of it. This is just a starting place so we can have water to the area. As we add plants, move plants, we can tie them into our drip system. So let's go over here, lay this piece down. So let me show you how we're going to roll right here. So I'm just going to start right here, curve this around this tree some, and I've got landscape staples. They do make landscape staples for like, these are specifically their Rainbird brand, and I like them because they're curved at the top and they're longer. So we're just going to landscape staple this guy in. So that was a really short piece. So I just want to show you here how you continue on. You know, if you've got like a 100-foot line, you would just go through and start unrolling and landscape stapling as you went. But if you get to an end to it, or maybe you even puncture it, whatever, you're going to get one of these couplers. This is a straight coupler, like so. And you're going to put it in here. The key to this is a wiggle. So you're gonna wiggle, wiggle. So you wiggle that one on. Then you take this guy, and I'm gonna show you a little closer up of the wiggle. I'm gonna get this guy, stick him in here, and then you just wiggle. Just a wiggle. So I'm going to continue on with my drip tubing and my landscape staples. I will say go ahead and get you more landscape staples than you need, because you think, it always seems like in these videos that these are very pliable. They are not. And landscape staples don't tend to stay in very good. So get you more than you think you're going to need, and I'm going to continue on with this. Again, it doesn't have to be in a really precise way, because again, it's off to it. So. now need to take off in that direction to feed this L portion of the bed, and then I'm gonna have to go down here all the way to the gravel and go up towards my water source. So what I need to do is put in a T-coupler here, put some tubing that goes that way, and then continue the tubing here, and then I'll be able to L at the bottom of that tubing and go back up to my water source. So to do that, you just get your, what are these called? Clippers, garden shears, something, I can't remember what they're called. Pull this weed while we're out here. I'm gonna have to come back in here, and anything that's popped up in the time that this has all been exposed, I'm gonna have to spray it with some, I've moved on to Captain Jack's Deadweed Brew, so we're gonna have to spray that in here. But either way, what we're gonna do here is just clip it. And we're gonna take our T, purchase this, the same section that you purchased the straight couplers or the elbow couplers, T. And we're gonna wiggle it into here. And we're gonna wiggle our piece over here. And then I'll be able to connect this piece and send it on down the bed. Let me show you how I'm gonna do that one down there. So I said I was gonna use an elbow and take it off that direction. I'm fresh out of elbows. So what I'm gonna do is use another T, and then on this end here, instead of having another tube running, I'll just run a tube and cap the tube. It's not ideal, but sometimes you gotta work with what you got. I ain't about to go to the store over one coupler. Every time I'm at the store, I try to buy a couple of bags of these little parts and couplers. You know, just if I'm at the Home Depot, I'm like, hey, let me go grab some couplers, but it'd probably be a better idea if I remembered what I was out of. But you can't have everything, or anything in some cases. So I'm going to pull this one down here. Get far enough into my gravel that I'll have a good size tail to work with. Cut that off. Put that on there. Put that on there. Slide my end cap over. Bend the tube. And slide it up. And there we have it. I'm gonna come back in here and trench the gravel out and weed. Need to weed bad. That way we can send one that way. Alrighty, so that's got us all set up. I'm gonna take you on a little tour and show you all the little couplers and all the little summary of what we got going on. If you need any landscape staples placed, he's got you. That's all. So let's start at the hose bib. So here's our hose bib. We've got a Y splitter. That runs to my timer. On this it has a pressure reducer, a pressure regulator, backflow preventer, and then it connects to this tubing. I buy this as a kit from Home Depot. It's a Rainbird kit of some sort. So this is the one it's coming off of. It was previously used for something else. So then it goes underneath the stairs here. And then it elbows to our new tubing, which starts here. It runs all the way down the gravel, which we will trench under and put the tubing under, and starts at that bed over there. So let's go over there. This is all so we can plant this beautiful Japanese maple. We're getting close. Well, and a bunch of other stuff too. So then this is where we made the T, and I already buried it, so it made a T, or you could use the elbow, which would probably be preferable. And then it comes up here, goes off this direction where it's got an end cap. This is teed up here, and it takes off through this bed. And again, this is just so later we can tie in stuff. We're not going to set it up as a whole system, watering a whole bunch of stuff that's not here until we need it. So then we could tee off. So let's say we put like a whole thing of hostas in here. I could take a piece of brown tubing and run it directly to the hostas right here. So it comes through the bed, just like so. Goes up through the bed here and goes all the way around. This bed is really, really coming together. Super excited. I feel like we're really getting somewhere. I also used some of our flat rocks and laid them out as a little just stepping stone pathway, because we do walk through here, not often, but we like to keep it clear so we can see, and hopefully that'll demarcate where that needs to be. So it goes all the way up to the beginning, which is over there. We're gonna go over there and look this way. And here's where it starts with our end capped piece. So this was all, again, just woods a couple weeks ago, and we're really getting somewhere. Now we can move these plants around to where we want them. We can mulch, and we can just start filling this thing in. Super exciting, super full of possibilities. So now that I am sufficiently sweaty and probably got makeup halfway down my face, yep, that'll be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will link down below the video where we started this bed, and then there should be a third one where I start moving things around, or maybe we'll just start doing that as a different thing, or putting in mulch, who knows. But I just wanted to show you guys how I'm going to set up this drip system, because it's a little different than the drips that I've used in the past, that I'm just setting up one big supply line and tying off of it later. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.